Okay. Uh, can I start? Can I start now?
Yeah, you can start anytime.
Thank you so much. First of all, for your team at GDC Southville. That's very amazing. Very amazing stuff like that you are doing from your side and doing for the community purpose. Hi everyone. This is Muhammad Hassan. I'm a Flutter developer, Saman Carriers, and from from my campus diaries, I'm community guy who love to invest most of the time with helping with learning and engaging new people across the globe. So I'm really passionate about the technology and the community. That's why I'm running and going and engaging day by day new talks and new people like you guys from Southwire. So I'm now currently a Flutter community manager, Hyderabad, Pakistan. I'm also working with different communities like Flutter GDG Google Developer Group Pakistan and AWS Community Builder. I did a lot of this stuff and amazing with Microsoft as well and Google. So and Amazon as well. So this is a short about myself. So can you Yes, meet the dish. This is fluttering, half fluttering. This is a very amazing search for you guys. This is just for happiness for you. Oh, next, please. So these are the prerequisites for the Flutter development. Uh, First, before you are moving to the learning for Flutter, you have to install, download just Flutter SDK, Android Studio for building and writing a code, and Visual Studio. This is very amazing as well. Xcode if you are working and writing code on Mac. If you are using Mac machines, so you have to download Xcode as well. For building and testing application, you have to install an emulator throughout the Android Studio and simulator Android Studio as well. Unfortunately, I don't have access, and I'm not gonna to share here the screen, but I will do share some in content. So it's very difficult for me to share a screen. So how can I guide you about the installation? But I will give you brief introduction about this. This is very amazing. So firstly, you have to go write Flutter on Google Chrome. You will have a Flutter official document. Then you will go. If you are using a Window machines, you will go easily. If for Window, if you are using a Mac, you will go for the Mac OS, right? So you don't need to download Android and VS Code manually, but you have to download parallelly throughout the officially Flutter documents. So after you have to install and download Xcode and yes, Android Studio, you have to download emulator and simulator, etc. So next, please. So awesome. Uh, Flutter is nothing but is an SDK from Google to make a cross-platform application. The application can run on iOS, Android, and Web 2 with a single code base. The meaning of the application can run on. You don't need to write a code for the separate Android. You don't need to maintain the code separately, but you have once write a code, someone has code that one code base rule them all. So the only single code base you have to write on any any Visual Studio or any ID, but you can run and build mobile application iOS, Android, and Web 2. Nowadays, Flutter for the games, Linux, desktop. There are a lot of another feasibilities and opportunities there. Next, please. So these are the application for the Androids. So you have to uh, you have to write a single code base for Android, for iOS and Web 2 that we have already discussed. You don't need to write a code separately. Let's suppose why we do we why we need a Flutter. Let's suppose I'm a son. I'm going to I'm writing a application, building application on Android native through all the Kotlin or maybe a Java. So somebody reaching out me that when you building this application for iOS, when you building application for the web, desktop, and all of these stuff. But I'm facing this problem that I have did it on just write a build application native. But how I can I do for the iOS as well? So firstly, then secondly, I'm going to think about that I have to write application for the iOS as well. So I will go for the Swift iOS and JavaScript as well for the web and etc. So these are the problems that I have to maintain. How can I maintain these stuff? Like I'm managing application three for the iOS web and Android too. So how can I manage it? It's very difficult for me that I have to I have to build just application, but I have to maintain as well for the sake of the future. For the rather the functionality, the complexity of the application increasing by day. So these are the amazing feature with the Flutter that we can do with a single code base rule them all. That we can build application, amazing, beautiful application, beautiful UI with a single code base. Only is start. Next, please. So you guys are thinking from the start day of 2017. If you are familiar, that thing that when Google announced Google I/O 2017, Google announced about the Flutter. That was very shocking news in the market that everyone is thinking that we have three big guns in the market. Why we do need a Flutter like React Native, like Ionic, Xamarin, React Native is also a very big community in the world. But why we need a Flutter nowadays? So simple and very amazing answer is that. Next slide, please. So why we need a Flutter? You guys are already thinking. If you are thinking, please do interact with the chat box as well. Do answer like why we need a Flutter. Next, please. It's very simple and short answer I have in my mind because it's self-efficient and how to use. That is a very simple and short answer on Google and from my side. Next. So Google Portable UI toolkit for building a multiple application. So nowadays, Flutter is a 3 point above 3.2 and etc. So that's a very amazing features is coming in future. Flutter community increasing the app rate. That's why. So we have a next. So that we have already mentioned, Flutter with support of different operating system like iOS, Android, Web, Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and embedded. But after increasing limitations and the complexity of application, so with the time, Flutter will support all these things and in future. So Flutter fundamental pillars. It is a core Flutter built to be fast, productive, beautiful, open, and portable. How it is fast? You can review this demo. This is application very amazing that I have made just on Flutter. You can set it speed like animation. You can use animation in Flutter as well. Take a speed limiter of your so you can have just amount of second of time you can put it is in your application. it's a very productive. Develop while your application is running. That's a big problem when you are running an application on Flutter. So there is another concept, the state management that we. This is a big advanced concept when we are running on the application on any ID or that we and consuming in memory. So, but in while Flutter is a very have some widgets that you can have a hot reload. Just put in drag, just put in and tap on hot reload. You will get a result step just in your ID. So, Flutter UI is a very beautiful. It's like a declarative for UI. You know, there are two kind of UI. We have uh, script for the scripting language. We have imperative UI, but Flutter is different from them. Like we have discussed, Ionic and the Xamarin and the script language like React Native. So it's a very beautiful no comprises for your design, and you can any build any design anytime with a beautiful your beautiful concept with beautiful widgets, beautiful UI complexity. It's open source. That's a very amazing things in Flutter. After React Native, Flutter, you can take the code, you can copy a code from the open source from GitHub. Now we have a GitLab as well. GitLab is a free product for everyone, and also GitHub. You can take a code from the GitHub open source. A code is free for you. You can take and copy and contribute yourself. This supportable. Same code runs everywhere. You can run on Android. You can run on iOS. You can run for the desktop, or for you can run for the embedded system. So you can run for anywhere. This is supportable code. Well. That's very amazing. Why Flutter uses dot? Why not other languages? That's a very amazing concept. Another that why Flutter uses dot. I have written an article about why Flutter uses dot as well that I will share about my Medium account as well. So, well, Flutter uses Dot self built powerful programming language. Dot is not a latest language, but it is an old language that introduced by Google that is taken from the developers that have made for the group Flutter as well. Programming language that is based on the OOPS concept, object oriented based, which is a quite simple and easy to learn if you have already worked on Java, object oriented, Swift, like a simple programming language. It will help you learn easily. Dot. That is a kind of combination of JavaScript and Java code, coordinates. For language, you have to go for Flutter documents. Next, please. There is another concept in Flutter of widgets. All things is widgets that you are using for the UI. Anything that you build in UI or user interface, everything from your app bar, from your buttons, from your for your screen is images and columns, containers. Everything in Flutter is widgets. Next, please. Yes, everything is widget that we already exams that we have like profile image that we can use containers and etc that everything that in Flutter UI is widgets. So you can container is a widget, row is widget, rep and column everything is widget that in UI that you can view on a screen. Flutter, everything, mixture, everything is widgets. So you have to uh, read. You have to learn first widgets about then before moving to the advanced topic. If you are beginners, I will guide you. Please go through the widgets. Just learn about widgets, that how it works, what kind of widgets use, what type of widgets we have. Flutter 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 use for the Flutter. We developers can use, developers are using to make a beautiful UI. So we have break down this UI. This is a very simple UI. So you have to understand each and everything. Firstly, Flutter demo homepage. This is we can call as a bar. This is a we put in title text Flutter demo homepage. We have used uh, text. Then we have a center column. In column, we have two children. Number one is text that you pushed the button this many times. Another children is five that you can put on hold, that we will discuss later on next slide for. And now an FB icon. This is basically widgets that is stateless widgets. We will discuss on next slides that what is exactly work is stateless and is stateful widgets. As we know, I have discussed already that everything is widgets. So you have to learn about the widgets, what kind of widgets Flutter uses. So we have discussed row, column, stack, padding, centers, all things. Make sure all things are widgets. So row is nothing but layout list of child widgets. Row contain number of childrens. In a row, number of childrens may be have in a horizontal direction. Columns may be number of childrens like containers. A number of childrens in a vertical direction. What is stack basically? That this class is useful if you want to overlap several children. If you want to overlap number of childrens there in a multiple, like for you have a pizza application, you are ordering a pizza, you have to manual options for selecting large, medium, for extra large. You have to overlap. So we have using for this concept is stack. So our lid with a guardian with a button and it's attached to the button. This widget is attached to the button. When we put and hold on, just add or delete. Padding is nothing. What is that instant? It's child by the keyword padding, the parent and child uh, child with space between them. Another is center, a widget that center its child within itself. Next, please. So, boom. These are the two widgets that we use for the Flutter. That's a very amazing and advanced concept, and from the basic concept, you have to understand before moving to the advanced. Make sure. So, these are the two widgets that you use every day. So number one is stateful. Please understand this concept before moving to the advanced. This is a very important concept for the Flutter that I have used still up to now. Uh, stateful widgets and stateless widgets. What is difference between them? When widget changes its value, that is stateful. Like when a widget is change, like a widget that is can be changeable, that we can change after the testing application, after the writing the application. When we once we write a widget, once developer write a widget, then he developer can change easily. That means a stateful widget. A stateful means dynamic widgets that that can be changed in future. Okay, but in what we say in stateless, no change in widget value. That's a stateless widget. A stateless widget is a static widget that cannot be changed in future, right? So these are the examples: checkbox, radio button, text field that we can change them easily in future, or maybe in when we are compiling the code. But we can what we talk about the stateless, we cannot change because it these widgets are static widgets. We cannot change text widget, icon, button, right button. These are the basic widgets, basic buttons and widgets of Flutter. So what we do in stateful widgets and stateless widgets. So in stateful widgets, override the create state and return state, and a build return and widgets. Override a build method. There are two methods that we are using in Flutter: stateless and stateful. And stateful, that create state. We can build override a state if we are. Let's suppose you are creating a class, right? A home page that you have to need for the, if you are using a stateful widgets, uh, you have to create a state. You have to create a state for that class. But you are using a stateless. You have to just build override. Use when your user want to UI dynamically. User remains constant during the runtime. All right. When widgets state change, the state objects call set stat. This is set stat is stat management. This is a big advanced concept, but in Flutter, stateful widgets can use a set stat that can use for that will be used for the stateful widgets. Next, please. So checkbox, check, single, multiple. These are the we have used for the stateful widgets. We can check and we can recheck. So these are the stateful widgets. Another concept, rise button. We have a login screen. We have to use for the buttons for the login screen, username and password. Username and password are stateful widgets. Read. We can read and edit data in future or in present, but we cannot change a login button because it is a stateless widget. So hope you understand this concept is stateful and is stateless easily. Next, please. Another Flutter is a declarative framework. Maxterl, it's a very important concept. Flutter is how behave Flutter UI. Flutter UI behave basically declarative. You don't need to go for read your widgets like we using in JavaScript or scripting language. Framework from Win32 Web to Android and iOS typically use an imperative style of UI programming. So this might be style you are most familiar, where you are manually construct a full functional UI entity such as a UI view or equivalent, another letter mutate. It's using a methods and the setters when UI changes. When you are using a React Native or scripting language, in order to lighten the burden on developers from having to a program how to transaction between various UI stats. Flutter by construct lets the developers describe the current UI state and the leaves the transitioning to the framework. That's called we have a declarative framework. So this is, however, requires a slight shift and thinking and how to manipulate UI. Next, please. So we have a screen like app widgets, and we have a state for changing the state of this screen. So next. Initially, we have a counter application, and first we have a value 0. How can let's see counter value initially 0. So how can it change? So we as we know, Flutter is a declarative framework. So it's very simply a Flutter UI changed by itself. Just you don't need to go and in a deep or read our application again, read our widgets again. Next. So this is basically application how it works. We have a plus button, add button. This is a counter basically. When user click on it, counter value 1, initially counter value 0. So it's basically when it's run application, just save and run a build application easily. It's not consume memory more, because we have stateful widgets, and in stateful widgets have a set stat. Next. Initially, Flutter, how it works. Flutter basically UI is equal to f of a stat. This Flutter works. How Flutter works is declarative. When developers change the UI, click on the button, counter value initial is 0. So Flutter UI call the Flutter state. What it does mean? It means that how it values the set state. So set state can handle this value. What it change UI after the clicking button. So when user click on it, 0, initially 0, and then 1. So set state, it Flutter called set state. Is we because set state is a stateful widgets. We use stateful widgets 0, 1, 2, 3 here. So when change UI, Flutter call itself and current state. What is current state? Is set state and count the value from 0, 1, 2, 3. Next, please. When building with Flutter, the possibilities are endless. The possibility are very that you have idea to make this is a very amazing concepts in Flutter, but you have to do and stuff day by day. Thank you. These are the very big community in Flutter. Next. Flutter is the first UI platform that designed for the ambient computing world. This is the founder and product manager of it, working with Flutter team. So this is quote from this. This is Flutter applications. Square, Toyota, Ubuntu. These startups are working. These startup working with Flutter. So over that 220,000 Flutter application nowadays, from startup to enterprise application. This community will be big in the future. Flutter used by many Google teams like Flutter. Google use itself Flutter for their own product, like these Google AdMob, Pay, Google One, and Nesta, Google Ads. These are the startup that Flutter Google use for itself. Blogger as well. This is a big web application. And next, please. The global community support Flutter ecosystem is thriving. There are a lot of the stores on GitHub from the 2020. It's it's a leading to other languages. 15 plus K packages. These are the big packages and hundreds thousands of contribution. Flutter also Twitter and amazing Flutter meetups like this. Always open source. It's open for you. You have to copy and paste your you have to use for your mobile application for yourself. Next, build everywhere you want to be. You can use Android Studio, Xcode. Xcode, if you Xcode is necessary when you are using machine Mac OS. But if you are using Windows, you need to download Android Studio and VS Code as well. So Firebase is really for you. Uh, just register your application text services from the Firebase. So these are the tools that Google provide for the Flutter developers. Next, so beginner that we have discussed beginner and intermediate, and after that you have to go for the expert. Choose your advantage that you are currently have. Thank you so much for your time, for patient and having me. This is a very amazing talk with me. For you. I hope you learn a lot with me for amazing content about the Flutter, and I have some information from my side.